All right, good evening. We'll take a few seconds. Everybody's coming in. Feel free to come in. Very informal presentation. But I want to say welcome to Northwest Rankin Middle School. For many of you, might have been sitting on this stage in May at graduations in various schools, and that was part of the middle school. So we want to thank you on behalf of our whole faculty, staff, administration, and the Northwest Rankin Middle School and the Rankin County School District. We want to thank you for coming out this evening. We're going to spend a little bit of time. What we're doing is, every time we're in a meeting, I always like to know, what is getting accomplished in this meeting? Here's what we're doing this evening. This evening is a culmination of programs that we do in the spring through our town hall meetings and through our school tours that we do with sixth graders. Now it's fifth graders. Fifth and sixth graders this year, because this is a very challenging task, because now for the first time we're bringing 1,000 students into our buildings that are brand new. We're also bringing those students into a brand new building with about 135 faculty and staff who's coming into a new building. So when your child comes home and says, "Mom, I didn't know where to go," and I asked an adult, and the adult didn't know where to go, well, I can go ahead and tell you the first day it may be true. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what's not going to happen. But we put a lot of things in place and procedure to make that happen. I can promise you it's going to be the smoothest transition that your child have. And we're going to talk a little bit about what we can expect from your child, what can we expect from you as parents, and more importantly, I know all you sitting in the audience want to know what you can expect from us. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and tonight's presentation will be just that. Will be a presentation. I'll keep you up here. Feel free to be able to answer questions at the end. Talk to us one-on-one. We'll dismiss you because the next 2 days are the days that everybody's waiting for. That's the days our students get our MacBook computers and get their schedules. And so we'll do that through our MacBook presentation process. But of course, we can do MacBook presentations, get your schedules, and do the what we're doing here tonight, the orientation. So we'll take a short time, and if you're patient with us, we'll talk a little bit about Northwest Rankin Middle School Way, and we'll be able to help you. And when you leave here, we hope you have a little bit better insight into our school and what we can expect from you and what you can expect from us. Okay. Like I said, my name is Shay Taylor. This will be my 7th year at Northwest Rankin Middle School. Very proud to be here. We got an incredible group. I always said the same group. I say the same story every year. And we have an incredible school for 3 reasons. 1, we have the best parents. 2, we have the best students. And 3, we have the best faculty and staff. And they're able to be successful without me getting in their way. And a lot of times I say, "Mr. Taylor, look, you need to go over there and stay out of our way, and we're going to be okay." So if you know anything about good leadership, the first sign is hire good people, be able to put them in position to be successful, and we feel like we've got a really good product going here. What is my role as an administrator? It's real simple. My role as administrator is to be able to facilitate and create a culture and climate where our teachers and our students can reach their highest potential. That's it. If we create a culture and climate where our teachers can reach their highest potential and our students can reach their highest potential, then we're going to be very successful. You will hear me say this quite a bit. I'm not a guy who likes to hear use big words, fancy words, things of that nature. Education process, too many people overcomplicate it. It's a very simple process. You get to know people, and you be able to find out what makes people tick, how you motivate them, how you inspire them, how you get them to do things that they don't want to do when you want them to do them because it's what's best for them. You're going to be very successful. And some of those things you can't learn in school. I fall back on my background as an old coach and had coached college football for a number of years, and so the recruiting piece is the piece that I really enjoy doing, and I really enjoy talking. But I want to say this, and I say this every year, especially to those mothers in the audience. All right, transition. This is a big one. It's a big transition. I'm bringing one to 6th grade with me, and then I've got one who's leaving me going to 9th grade. And it seems like every year the transition is always a little bit bigger. But if you remember daycare, right? I remember the daycare days. We're going to kindergarten, pre-K over Highland Bluff. I myself I'm very excited because I'm about to, pocket $500 back in my checking account, right? So we ride up in Highland Bluff at kindergarten, and I look at my daughter Tally and said, "Tally, have a great day." And my wife just, we're walking her inside. I was like, "We've been to school 4 times. She knows where her room is. She'll be all right." But see, I did not understand the transition. And then so now I understand what that meant to her and her babies leaving an environment that she's comfortable with and going to a new environment. And then now we see it, especially in elementary schools, where you've been in school for 6 years. And sometimes, last year it was 5, but this year with y'all it would be 6, possibly 7 with pre-K. Now you're going into a new environment, new car rider line, new pickup, new ladies in the front office. And then we have a transition to high school. And what I've worked in was a transition to college. Now you think it's difficult talking to this group of individuals right here and saying, "Hey, look, trust me for your child to come to me for the next 3 years in this school with this wonderful faculty and staff, and we're going to take care of them." That's an easy sell. The hard sell is sitting in front of that mother at the kitchen table and saying, "Give me your son for the next 4 years, and I'll make sure he's fed, goes to class, stays out of jail, doesn't stay in trouble, and Mom." And I stop and look them dead in the eyes. If I could, I'd look everyone dead in the eyes right now. And I promise you, your son will come back with a college education. Now, for some of those young men, it was 4 years, some 5, some 6. I worked at one university where 8 years later, he graduated. I had long left, but I was at his graduation. And I saw his mom. And she said, "Mr. Taylor, we did it." I said, "Coach Taylor, we did it." I said, "Mom, I told you 8 years ago." I wanted to say, and he's not a doctor, but 8 years ago, I told you that we were going to do this. And so we got him, he graduated, and now he's got a successful business down in Baton Rouge. So what we're saying is we understand that it's a transition. And we understand that as long as we're here and we're in this school and the leadership is where it is and the faculty and staff is where it is, that it's always going to be about people. It's not about policies, programs, or procedures. It's about people. So we'll go through, we'll get started, and we'll get through this presentation, and we'll head straight out. I'd be remiss if I said this, guys. Here's what I want you to do, too. Make sure you go by and visit the ladies at the PTO. I don't know if you're familiar with this campus, but if you would look at this campus the way it looked in April to the way it looks now, pretty impressive. Pretty impressive, especially inside the building and outside. But you'll hear me say this a lot of times. Your children are here. 2 things we always want you to do is be proud of who you are and be proud of where you come from. And I think that's what we're going to do here with our facilities. That's what we're going to do here with our building. That's what we're going to do here with our instruction and things like that. But make sure you go by and see those ladies PTO because they've got aggressive plans to help your child, our teachers, to be able to give them a first-class experience. So please go by and visit them. Okay? All right, now, if you did receive a packet, obviously you can scan the QR code and you get started, and we'll get along with the presentation. I want to introduce our administrators. I think I've laid eyes on them, and they're around here quite a bit. But like I said, I'm Mr. Taylor, I'm the lead principal. We'll start below. Ms. Bonseal Anderson. Ms. Anderson, are you present today? Where's Ms. Anderson? There she is, Ms. Anderson. Ms. Anderson is our assistant principal. Let's give her a round of applause, Ms. Anderson. Ms. Anderson, would you like to share a few words? No? Okay. Ms. Anderson is our assistant principal over our curriculum instruction, testing, assessment. She does a tremendous job. She is our ELA guru. We're doing some really fantastic things with ELA, and we're kind of breaking the mold and thinking outside the box, so we're excited about that, how that's going to work this year. It's going to really grow our students to a whole nother level. So thank you, Ms. Anderson, for all your hard work. Mr. Woody Vanderberry. Mr. Vanderberry. Mr. Vanderberry, right there. Mr. Vanderberry is our 6th grade principal. Been a 6th grade principal, been with us, and it's kind of a quick story on Mr. Vanderberry. We came back. He was in the high school building. For Mr. Vanderberry, how long were you in that building, 500 Hall, Vine Street? 15 years. So we came back and they said, okay, we got to get a 6th grade principal. We got to get somebody to get this building in tip-top shape. And Mr. Vanderberry every day was either bush hogging, was either painting, was either with a weed eater, but it's got that 500 Hall looking good. It's got our facilities looking good. He's over our science department and our electives, our art, music, and fine arts and visual arts. So does a tremendous job. The next is Miss Denise Sutton. Miss Denise Sutton's right here. She's on the camera today. Miss Sutton is our, like I said, assistant principal, and she is your 7th grade contact. Okay? When we go to the math, I'll show you how it works out. But we have been able to take our school and almost put it in 3 separate schools because of the layout of the building. All things pertaining to 7th grade will be, Ms. Sutton will be your contact. She's also your contact for our exceptional education program. And then obviously as we get into it, if it's in English, if it's history, math, we go into our administrators. I'm sure you're asking, Ms. Taylor, what department are you in? Somehow I'm over the math department. So it kind of goes back to hiring good people and staying out of their way. That's what we try to do with that. But no, Ms. Sutton does a tremendous job, and she's going to really lead this group, and we're really fortunate to have her in that position. The next one is Dr. Jeff White. Dr. White, also like Mr. Vanderberry, has spent a lot of time in this building. Does a tremendous job. Is over our athletics program, and we got some first-rate middle school facilities right here on our campus, so we're excited about that. But Dr. White is also over history and is like our PE, so in our facilities. He's the man to contact, and he'll be able to help you, but does a great job. I tell you what, it's so funny. We found a piece of furniture that Dr. White had. Dr. White, how long ago was that?
12 years.
12 years. A piece of furniture in the hall that had his name on it. I'm like, that's chunky. Let's get rid of it. So, we've been doing that, culling it, but it's been really good, and we're excited for you to be able to see the building tomorrow, and we're excited, especially when it's finished. But the renovations are out. They're trying to do their punch list. They'll be out Friday. We're kind of just steadily pushing them out the door, but the end is near. All right, our counselors are Miss Janie Nash. Miss Janie Nash, would you like to say hello? There she is. She's all counselors. Last name A&G. So if your student's last name is A&G, Miss Nash will be your contact. Miss Slade with us this evening. Miss Slade, she'll handle all names H through N, and Miss Jamita Dixon will handle all last names O through Z. It's my 7th year, and I still have not figured out who's what counselor. But maybe this year will be the year. All right, we're going to talk about the top 10 real fast. Harris, who all remembers who's a big David Letterman fan? Anybody? David Letterman, top 10. I was sitting there, I was a senior in high school, and said, one of these days, I'm going to be able to do a top 10, and I want to be able to do a top 10 as a middle school principal. I've arrived, baby. I have arrived. But we do this every year to just kind of little things about things, top 10 things you need to know to be able to secure that your child has a tremendous experience at Northwest Rankin Middle School. Extracurricular activities, number 10. Clubs and organizations. I'll say it again, and I say it every year, and the parents are shocked. The most important class you will take at Northwest Rankin Middle School as a new student is your elective. Not math. Is your elective. Ms. Taylor, what are your electives? Art, theater, music, band, athletics, PE, show choir. Whatever that is your most important class. Why? Because it's a class your student chooses to take. And if it's a class your student chooses to take, then it's a class that they want to take, and they're going to be in that classroom with 20, 22 other people who have the same common interests. Until you grow them socially, and until you grow them emotionally, they will not grow instructionally to the level that you need them to grow to. So that is our first step. That has always been our philosophy and will continue to be our philosophy. These are just some of the many clubs and organizations we want them to be involved. And if they're not involved, if they don't like what we're involved, come see me. We'll start a culinary club. We'll start a wakeboard club. You name it, you pitch it, you get a mission statement, and you tell me that it's important to you and prove to me that it's important to you, we'll make it happen. All right? Athletics. Athletics, you know, a lot of those are affiliated with the high school, but the 7th grade is where we start with the MHSA program. Our 6th graders are not eligible for athletics, but our 7th graders are. But we want them to get involved in anything. Philosophy is like this: if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. If it's worth doing right, it's worth doing first class. And if it's worth doing right, it's worth doing first class, and they happen to keep score, then we're going to play to win. Okay? But, you know, so we want to get involved. The reason this is so passionate about me, because, like I said, everybody's ingrained with their personal philosophy. Mine was, I was fortunate enough to travel across the United States of America, and I've been into high schools where it costs $25,000 to go to school for 1 year. And I've also been into high schools where I had to go through 8 metal detectors to get to the front office. And each one of those high schools I went to, I also went into their homes that evening. And regardless of which school it was, at the end of the day, there's 2 things that each one of those children wanted, regardless of socioeconomic status, regardless of anything. 1, they all wanted to be loved, and 2, they all wanted to be a part of something. So we keep that philosophy at the forefront of everything we do. We've had a lot of success with it. Communication. If you haven't gotten on social media, we ask that this is one of the key ways that we communicate with you. Nathan Park is one of our baseball coaches who does a tremendous job. He does a tremendous job trying to communicate. And what we want to do is we want to market and show everybody, show our community, everything that happens within these walls. We want to show it to everybody outside the walls. And it's a very positive environment. Let me say this about social media. It's got its ups and downs. I will say this, and I will continue to say this. When it's done right, it works. Just like everything else, when it's done wrong, not productive. So, you know, if, which a lot of you will, we ask this, that the world has never been where everybody agrees on everything, that if you don't like something that we're doing or you disagree with it, I just ask that we just have a conversation, we can talk about it. You know, it's so easy nowadays to just throw stuff on social media, or post something, post this and post that. You know, I'm an adult, you're an adult. Let's have a conversation about it. Because the next piece is something that all of us need to get better at, especially our young men and women, is communicating face to face. I'm telling you guys, we see it, you see it every day with 1 or 2 of your children. We see it every day with 1,200. They're losing the ability to carry on a conversation. Because they're texting, they're emailing, they're messaging. I'm just talking about having a conversation. We make it. The kid talks to me, looks me in the eye. Some of them break the neck to do it, but they look me in the eye. They shake the hand, they shake it. A firm handshake, look in the eye, and they look at me, they acknowledge it, and they walk on. Okay, so some of those things aren't broke. And we're just trying to reinstill them and make sure they're learning how to communicate with others. Policies. This is one. 7th graders. Same thing we told 6th graders. You're about to begin your journey dealing with accountability and responsibility. You will start to be being accountable and responsible for your education. We talk about it all the time. We get out, where's the school supply list? Not one. bring a pen, bring a paper. We'll go from there. You'll get your MacBook, you'll use it, there's no more Monday. Here's how we do it Tuesday. Well, Ms. Taylor, that's going to be quite a shock. We understand it is. And so we're going to put things in place to kind of wean that and make sure that you're able to grow and mature and be accountable. And we ask the first step. If a parent calls me about their child is having a problem with the teacher, I'm going to say, hey, has your child reached out to the teacher? Oh, we don't want to do that. Well, yeah, let's try it. Because like I said, we're adults and we're professional, and that's what we get paid to do. So we don't, we don't step over in the personal. If you step in the personal realm, then then I'll get involved. All right, cell phones and headphones, guys. This is one parents. I know y'all may be dealing with it at home. Here's my question: is this? Is if they don't have a cell phone, they can't abuse it. I had a parent and I talked about that one day. He said, Miss Taylor, she'll be mad at me if I take her phone away. Well, I looked at her. I said, can I speak candidly? She said, sure. I said, do you want to be her friend or do you want to be her parent? Because if you're going to be a friend, then I'll be her parent here. We have a problem. Here's the problem we get into with these cell phones is, believe it or not, parents calling or texting their child during school. You may bring you something to eat. So some of y'all older school like me, I can't imagine my daddy calling me and saying, I'm going to bring you something to eat and go eat lunch. Okay? But let me tell you something. Miss Taylor, I want to be in contact with the child. Absolutely. I want to be in contact with parents. Absolutely. We got this incredible invention in our office. We got 3 of them. It makes calls. It never drops. It's got great service, and it's got great reception. It's called a landline. You want to call your child? Call them. I need to see so-and-so's. We hope. I hope you wouldn't say I need to see Sophie Taylor because I want to see if she wants me to bring her something up. But no, if it's something serious, we're going to be able, we do it all the time, break kids out, put them in my office, and then once we have them in the office, we let them talk and do whatever to handle it. And parents can do the same thing. Parents call in, they call out too. So let's just be careful about that because those can get out of hand, and we just want to make sure that we're distracting, we're not hurting the instruction that's going on in the classroom. All right, dress code. Guys, I'll let y'all look at this. I want to say this as a parent, as a parent of a female, $2. I'm not like at home because I'm like, you ain't wearing it because you're going to get dressed up. All right? We are going to be patient until your children adapt to this new dress code, okay? We're going to be patient. But just look through it and know the leggings with the once we get to the holes, guys, we don't need a hole in the pants right here. Don't need it. Okay, because you don't understand how much problems it causes that we have to deal with. Okay, so let's just get a good handle on that. We'll be in good shape. All right, schedule. All right, daily schedule. Here we go. Get into the meat of it. Zero block starts at 7:30 every morning. What is zero block? Zero block is a time from 7:30 to 8:15 where your child can have remediation, clubs can meet. It is a zero block, which means your child is not assigned a class. They missed school Tuesday, Wednesday for zero block, they could call and go over what they missed Tuesday. What time does my child need to be at school? School starts at 8:20. If you want to take advantage of zero block, take advantage of it. If you don't, you can drop them off at 8:15. That is your schedule. If you come down to the end, car rider dismissals at 3:15, which is our normal time. Bus rider dismissals at 3:30. Taylor, why are we doing that? Real simple. We work here at the high school. The buses from the elementary school don't come in all at the same time. And so if we're going to dismiss all these 6th and 7th and 8th graders, they're not ever going to find their bus, guys. At the middle school, at our old building, the high school, we designed it where the bus parks in a certain spot. And so when that bus pulls out of that campus, it's going to line up the same way every time. So if your child rides 342 and it's right here, it'll be there every day in that spot. If it's a sub, that sub will be in that spot. Okay, it is incredibly chaotic going back there and your bus not being here and we're saying it's over there. So car riders will dismiss at 3:15, bus riders will dismiss at 3:30, and we'll get them home because it'll be a smooth transition from there. All right, sample A-B schedule. A day has 4 classes. B day has 4 classes. You will go to 4 classes on A day, and then you will go to the next 4 classes on B day. If you will look up here, nothing is double blocked. We used to double block English, but now we're doing a little something different with it. So we have English, Science, Cyber Foundations, Music, English Elective, Math, PE, History. We know we're taking Math, we know we're taking English, we know we're taking English Elective, Science, History, and we're taking a Cyber, which is Computer, 6. That leaves us 2 spots for electives. Right here is PE and Music. The English Elective is mandatory. It is the second part of the double block, but what we're doing with English is we're taking the components that we learn in English, our standards, and then we're doing a lab-based application through either journalism, creative writing, Mississippi Writers, speech and debate, so then they get to choose what they want to do, and then we're applying those standards that we learned the day before. So we're looking forward to seeing how that's going to work out and be really successful for us. Registration, real fast. If you're new to the district, you should have received a registration packet. You have to do it in person. New to the district means you were not in the Rankin County School District last year. Returning students, meaning you came from one of our elementary schools or you transferred from another school inside the Rankin County School District, you should have received the InfoSnap email. If you didn't, we'd ask that you call the front office tomorrow and speak with Ms. Debbie Wilson, and she'll be able to take care of that for you and get that information to you. 7th graders are all required a Tdap vaccination. Tdap vaccinations have been around for a long time. That is a vaccination that's required. What we do right there is we ask that you be expedient about getting that to us. You can get that at your local health care provider. It's a regular vaccination, and they stamp it and turn it in. Ms. Janet Holloway will be the contact there, but we'll start as they come in, and then we'll start trimming the list down. And if you haven't got one, you'll be hearing from us, and we'll be trying to get that handled. Residency verification must be brought to the school for all students. So every one of these you have an opportunity to do tomorrow night. We'll do residency. We'll pay for get your schedule. Go do the computer. All of that. Because when we do the Meet Your Match, which we'll get into, there's some certain other things you have to do as far as the student login code and things like that, which if we did a group this size would be pretty crazy. Zero block. We talked about a little bit about what it is, remediation, what it is not. It's not a time to hang out. We don't hang out in teachers' rooms. We don't, do friends. It's not free time. It is a time that you need to take advantage of. It really is. It's a unique opportunity. It's a time where we don't have to keep you after school, and parents don't have to come pick you up after school. We've all been through those. But it is a time that we make sure that we are an advocate for our own learning. We talk to our teachers to make sure we can set that up in zero block, finish the test, whatever that may be. We make sure we don't turn it into a study hall or something of that nature. If you don't have zero block, then you'll go to the gymnasium. Right? We've got tons of supervision right there. But we're going to really ask that when we start coming in, and if we're having trouble or we're struggling with something, that's the first thing we're all going to say is, are you taking advantage of zero block? Transportation. Bus riders. Secondary bus routes will begin at 7 o'clock. Buses will drive all the routes from the first route. Here's where we are. We're getting new buses. They're working on the bus loop. We'll get that out. We'll push that out through all the social media outlets and Swift K-12. 7 o'clock. Uh-oh. Battery's water playing whatever. You hear me in the back? Can you get a little bit louder? Good? All right, 7 o'clock. So, what you'll do is this. You'll be outside at 7 o'clock. Your bus may come the first day at 7:32. But you're out there at 7 o'clock, and we don't know what time the bus is coming because the bus has got to go down every road because they don't know who's getting picked up. Second day you're out there at 7 o'clock, you get picked up at 7:33. Third day at 7 o'clock, you get picked up at 7:34. Now we're starting to start a little pattern. It's probably safe to say you're going to be getting picked up between 7:32 and 7:36. All right, that takes about a week to work itself out because nobody just calls in and says, I'm a bus rider. You're just standing outside and the bus driver stops. So it takes about a week to get all that taken straightened out. But when it does, you know, you will get a time, you'll get a 5-minute window right there and you'll be good to go. We talked about that. Now, you will get a pretty good indication of when you leave. Your bus driver will be telling you, you know, you're going to be getting home at 4:45, 3:45, you're going to be getting home at 3:50. That doesn't change a whole lot. All right? Car riders. Car riders will be dropped off and picked off at the front entrance of the school. Tomorrow morning, we're setting that up. All you need to know right now is you're going to turn in off that front entrance. Our job is to get as many cars as we possibly can off Highway 25. If we don't flow with PD, we'll come straight. So we're going to take you off Highway 25. We're probably going to show you a little bit of campus. And then we're going to come in and we're going to drop your child off door side safely. And then you'll exit out on Vine and we'll go through. We understand that we're going to have a lot of car riders. So we feel like we've got a very good plan put in place to be able to negate some of that. Like you said, you got a 7:30 to 8:20 window. So we're going to be able to make sure your child is dropped off safe. All students will be an afternoon car rider any time during the year. Ms. Sutton has done that with Swift K-12. You'll be seeing her tomorrow about that as well. If you have not filled out a form or received a number, please scan the QR code in your packet to fill out the form. Well, how are you going to get them all picked up, Mr. Bailey? You're going to come through a geofence and you've got a number. You're going to type that code in. That code is going to take your number. My number is 112. We move all our students to the gym. We get a notification. Child gets a notification that at 112, car rider 112, that's my number. I'm headed out of the gym into the car rider. Okay? We can't take all of them and stick them out there and wait till they come through. So, what we ask of your student is when it's car rider time, be paying attention to the car dismissal system. And we'll teach them all that the first couple of days, all right? Power School. Why is it important? Power School Parent Portal gives access to real-time information about your child's attendance and grades. Your child comes home. I see it all the time in progress reports. Tell me how your grades. Hey, all right. I'll look it up. 72. It ain't all right. I don't have to see what a 68 is. But, I'm able to say, all right, that ain't all right. Because you got a 72. And we're about to do something about it. So we're able to do that, get that taken care of. But we want you to be involved. We want you to know what's going on in your child's education, especially academically. So you do that. So make sure we take advantage of that. You'll see all of their grades, but that's going to be where everything is going to go. Graded assignments, progress reports, report cards, all those things going about paperless. So make sure that we're very well adapted to that. Our counselors would love to sit down and visit with you, talk to you, work you through it. But it's a pretty easy process once we get to understand it. Technology. MacBook Information. Your child is receiving a new MacBook. And it is very nice. It is not the Apple IIe that I had when I was coming up. But the annual deposit is $50 is required for 7th grade MacBooks. The fee must be paid before they get their device. Okay? You can scan the QR code in your packet to make a payment. That payment is on My School Bucks. It's available now. All registration must be completed before a student can be issued a MacBook. Here's the kicker, guys. This is the new one. Students new to the district will receive the devices the first day of school. Last year, students would come in, register, would give them a computer. About 1,200 of them gone. Okay. We'd ping them at being in LA, we'd ping them at being in Chicago. The student came in and registered, got the MacBook. Never stepped foot in the halls, never stepped foot in a virtual class or anything. So, we're making sure that if you're a new student, all we're going to do is make sure you show up, we can look you in the eye, and then we can issue your computer. Okay, that's the new one that's the new one. That's why we were talking about, new to district, you'll get it the first day of school. MacBook Rollout. If the fee has been paid and all registration paperwork has been completed, you'll be able to pick up your MacBook the following times. This is tomorrow and Friday, 7 to 9. That takes 2 hours to do this. It's just come as you go from 7 to 9. 11 to 1, 4 to 6, 7 to 9 on Friday, and 11 to 1 on Friday. Okay, the process will be you'll come in the door, we'll check to see if you've done your residency. If you've done your residency, you'll get your schedule. You get your schedule, you'll go to payment. Have you paid? If you paid, you'll go this way. If you hadn't paid, you'll be able to pay. If you pay in person, it's $50 cash. If it's My School Bucks, then we'll be able to pull it up on the computer. So that is tomorrow. So your child will walk out of here tomorrow and Friday with a MacBook and a schedule. As I said earlier, that's the two things that they're looking forward to the most. Inappropriate use of technology. Once again, with all the things that we've been gifted, when they're used for good, it's good, but they can also be used for, I would say, the bad. This is another one. Parents, make sure that when your child takes their MacBook home, we still monitor that. I don't want my child to have a MacBook because all he does is sit at home and play YouTube or watches YouTube. He didn't watch it at school, but if he watches it, so that's where we need to work together, because is that getting a parental responsibility or is that getting administrative responsibility? I'm always telling them, take it up. Or, this is a good one, watch them do their homework. And then when they're doing the homework, take it up. So, these things are really good and you really get behind, and our students are tremendous. I can tell you, with our tech team, if we have a problem, I can take it to them and they get it fixed. But make sure, the negligence and purpose, the mistreatment of computers is one. The inappropriate contact, the inappropriate during instruction time is we're not doing the computers what they're for. But then we start getting and searching and getting these things. And guys, we got filters all over the place. And there's nothing worse than calling a young student in and telling them, we know what you've been searching for. And it's more importantly, a terrible conversation we have to talk to parents about. Okay, so please help us monitor those. Cyberbullying, you know, cyberbullying gets into the regular bullying, and you know, we'll get into that. I think we've had some success here because the bullying is pretty simple. If you get two individuals, I know the bullying to me gets a little, I hear it every day. But people have argued with people, and people have not agreed since the start of man. Okay? We don't all have to be friends. We got 1,400 kids in this school. And so we sit them down in my office, both of them, and say, you don't have to be his friend, he ain't got to be your friend. All we ask is that you're civil, and you keep his name out your mouth and your name out his mouth, and you go about your business. If you have to work together, then you do so in a very professional manner. Are we clear? We had about a 99.9% success rate with that. Okay? The more important thing we want you to help us with is when we talk about that is teaching these young men and women how to be resilient. That if we don't let other people's opinion of us become our reality. So, you know, we've done a good job with that, and we'll continue to do that. That's both in the cyberbullying and in the regular bullying. Canvas. Canvas is a learning management system issued by the RCSD. That is one-stop shopping for your students. Anything the teacher posts will be in Canvas. You turn in your assignments to Canvas. They post the study guides, videos. I didn't go to school on Tuesday. What I need to do, your teacher will say, check Canvas. It'll all be laid out there. Tests and quizzes or electronically. Extension of the teacher's classroom. I have to talk about that. Great learning. Guys, y'all, I have to learn that just like you every day. I have to go check Canvas for something. I usually have to get Miss Anderson and Miss Sutton to come help me. But it is good, and like I said, you would think it would be a little bit frustrating, but these young men and women pick it up pretty fast. So that's it. That's the top 10 there. I want to make sure before we end, let's talk about this. Please, I want everybody to go back, and when you get some chance to reflect, to take a time and hit that and look at that SMART Restart plan. All right, we were sitting here this time last year in a situation where we were woefully unprepared. I was sitting here thinking, I think we got a great plan together. I really don't know what the future holds, but you know, as long as we are able to do what's best for kids and do what's best for students, we're going to be all right. And so we were. We had tremendous success, just like the elementaries. But this is where we are as of right now. And what I want you to understand is, I'm going to sit up here and tell you something, and either half of y'all, I'm not going to tell you enough, we're not doing enough, and then I'm going to come over here, and these folks are going to tell me I'm doing too much. What we say, we're going to do what is asked of us to do, and we're going to do it keeping your young men and women safe. And all I ask is come talk to me about it. Come talk to me about it. Because at the end of the day, regardless of whether we agree or disagree, we're all on the same team. Okay? So please go home and take a look at that. That thing is ever flowing and ever changing. We've got some more information coming out. This is as of yesterday. So let us know. Give us your feedback. Email me. Call me. Pull me off to the side. We'd love to talk to you about it. Okay? Now, I believe that is it. Once again, in conclusion, tomorrow's a big day. 7 to 9, 11 to 2, 3 to 6, 4 to 6. Friday is 7 to 9 and 11 to 2. Okay? We appreciate you coming out.